Hello everyone, my name is JurassicKM, and today I'm going to rank all the entries to the Jurassic franchise's film canon. I know that sometimes this can be a very muddy and touchy subject, so a couple of quick disclaimers. One, I am only going to be including things that have been confirmed to be hard canon within the franchise. So things like Telltale's Jurassic Park the Game or the Jurassic World Live Tour will not be featured on this list. I'm also excluding the Blue and Apatosaurus VR experiences because from what I've read, those don't have any kind of impact on the overall canon. 2. This list is based on my personal opinions and experiences with these entries. Art is subjective, our lists aren't going to look the same, and that doesn't make anyone any more or less of a fan, so don't take my rankings as a personal attack, okay? 3, I'm going to try keep these descriptions brief so this video isn't half an hour long. No idea if I'll succeed though. With that stated, let's start at the bottom and work our way up, shall we? So starting us off are the Jurassic World motion comics. I don't hate the idea behind the motion comics, but I'm not sold on the execution. The art style is fine, but sometimes the animation makes the creatures and people look really weird, and the voice acting is very much subpar. It's not original Resident Evil bad, but it's enough to take me out of the story. It also doesn't add a whole lot to the overall lore, basically telling events from the ending of Fallen Kingdom and Battle at Big Rock from different perspectives. I can appreciate the second episode showcasing a territorial dispute between two herbivores, but that's just one scene over 4 episodes. Thankfully, binging the episodes takes less than 15 minutes. Coming up next is Jurassic Park 3. I know this movie has its fans, and that's totally fine. Jurassic Park 3 is not without its moments, and the creature designs have grown on me over the years. I'm not even mad about the whole T-Rex versus Spinosaurus thing. It's an understandable idea with a questionable execution. My issues are the overall look of the movie feels way more synthetic than its predecessors. It's in such a rush to get through itself, the characters aren't super interesting, and it doesn't have any sort of moral angle to it, making it feel more like a generic runaway from dinosaurs movie than a Jurassic Park film. I'm happy that people love this movie, but I don't. I don't hate it either. To me, Jurassic Park 3 is just kinda there. Next is Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 4. Much like I said in my Manticore Velociraptor repaint video, I do not hate Season 4 of Camp Cretaceous, but it is the weakest of the series. A lot of criticism is lauded at the inclusion of the robotic henchman, the character of Cash, and the dino control chips. Given how the whole premise of this franchise is built off of recreating full extinct creatures with fragments of fossilized DNA, I didn't find advanced Boston dynamics that much of a stretch, and really, Cash is just another person exploiting dinosaurs for personal gain and greed, just like any other Jurassic villain. The only difference is he's just a bit more brash. The behavioral communication tech is interesting. The banter and group efforts of the campers is still engaging, although Kenji and Brooklyn's relationship feels forced to me, and it made way for the much better Season 5, but more on that one later. Up next is Jurassic World. I find Jurassic World to be a flawed but fun movie. My issues with Jurassic World can be summed up with an over-reliance on CGI, not showing off enough of the park in detail, the characters feeling more like archetypes than actual characters, and a few too many moments that basically go, "Hey, remember Jurassic Park?" I'm one of the last people in the world who needs to be reminded of that film's greatness. However, this movie has a decent enough pace, it's well acted, and there are some parts that are just downright fun to watch. I respect that it brought the series back from limbo, and the public took the franchise a bit more seriously after it blew away everyone's box office expectations, but it's easily my least favorite of the new trilogy. Following up Jurassic World is Jurassic World: The Yosemite 6. This is the second book of the Maisie Lockwood adventures. I've only read it once, and I remember it feeling cheesy, but it pulled me in enough that I could hear the actors' voices in my mind as I was reading it. If I can get that invested, the book must be doing something right. This one would have been closer to the first Maisie Lockwood adventure book, but I remember rolling my eyes at the ending a bit. Speaking of which, next we have Jurassic World: Off the Grid. This is the first Maisie Lockwood adventure book, and it's a lot of fun. The Yosemite 6 felt like it was trying to go bigger and bolder with its creatures and scenario, like most sequels do, Off the Grid is a smaller scale and a bit more personal. It's cool to read things from Macy's perspective as she rides along with Owen and Claire, learning as much as she can from them about everyday life while wrestling with her own personhood. The creature roster is limited to 3 Triceratops and a cameo from Blue, if I recall correctly, but it works for this story. And there's also a fun inclusion of shady hunters trying to track down Macy. Up next is Battle at Big Rock. This is such a great concept. Microfilms set between the films to flesh out the world more and whet our appetites between entries. Upon reflection of this film again, I realized one of the things that I really liked about Battle at Big Rock is that there weren't a lot of sweeping cinematography shots that you get in the theatrical films. Much like Gareth Edwards' Godzilla, which is a great movie, most of the shots of the dinosaurs feel like they realistically could have been filmed by anyone just standing there with a camera. The Pseudoceratops is a nice addition to the series, the Allosaurus design is a huge glow-up from Fallen Kingdom, and the interior shot where the camper flips over is a great callback to The Lost World. I would love to see more of these. Following up Battle at Big Rock is Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 5. Yes, this season has a rather lame and inconsistent with canon explanation as to how Dodgson acquired the Barbasol can. Yes, this season leans more into the dinosaur control chips and advanced robotics. Yes, the final showdown gets a little cheesy. Yes, the T-Rex's lips flapping while it roars is certainly a, choice. However, what makes Camp Cretaceous Season 5 rank so high for me is the drama between its human characters, especially since most, if not all of it, stems from Daniel Cohn's deceptive behavior and emotional manipulation of his son Kenji that eventually pits the rest of the campers against him. I can always appreciate when a Jurassic entry gives us more than just people running from dinosaurs. Obviously, it's done better in other entries, but this one's still solid. Going back to books, next up is Jurassic World, The Evolution of Claire. Ever wondered how Claire got to be how she is in Jurassic World? Well, here you go. This book takes place about 10 years before the events of the 2015 film when Claire was an intern at the park assisting with the setup. Other characters from the film make appearances here. The exploration of the park in progress is neat, and Claire's journey is mixed with wonder, excitement, terror, mystery, sabotage, and tragedy. The first time I read it, I couldn't stop because of how much it drew me in, and the surprises that it had caught me off guard, but still felt like they could fit within the realm of the Jurassic Park franchise. If you haven't read this one yet, I strongly recommend it. I wouldn't mind seeing this being adapted into an animated film, honestly. Heading back to Netflix for one last time, we have Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Seasons 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I'm cheating a bit here, but 1, it's my list. And 2, I like the first 3 seasons equally, so I had a really hard time trying to split them up. Camp Cretaceous did a fantastic job with its roster of characters, all from different walks of life being put together in this situation and growing as both individuals and as a group. I felt like Camp Cretaceous righted the wrongs from Jurassic World. The humans and dinosaurs look like they are existing within the same space. Much more of the park is shown off, making Jurassic World seem like that much more exotic of a place. Like I mentioned, the characters actually evolve and grow as characters. The writing is fantastic, and the scenes of peril are actually pretty suspenseful. Jurassic Paw Patrol, this is not. If you have been sleeping on Camp Cretaceous, I would strongly recommend at the very minimum checking out the first 3 seasons. If you don't want to see seasons 4 and 5 due to word of mouth, season 3 does have an ending that could easily serve as a series finale. Up next is Jurassic World Dominion. For the sake of this entry, I'm referring specifically to the extended cut, although for the record, I thought the theatrical cut was totally fine. But the extended cut is better, even if there is a part or two that I was like, okay, I'm actually glad they cut that out. Dominion is a big, packed, ambitious movie that doesn't always connect when it swings to the fences, but the Locust side plot sounds exactly like the ruthless extremes that novel Dodgson would go to, and it's not like Fallen Kingdom didn't warn us with Malcolm's line of, what's going to be done with genetic power? It isn't going to stop with the de-extinction of the dinosaurs. It's great to see Dodgson as a character rather than just a meme. The movie gives us fun set pieces and sequences that plant the seeds for future stories to be told. Looking at you, dinosaur black market. And it is great to have the park and world characters go on separate journeys that eventually cross paths and have to team up for survival. Yes, there are some missed opportunities. Yes, I don't like how they changed how exactly Maisie is a clone, and I'm still iffy on whether the timelines add up. And the big finale is probably the weakest of the world trilogy. But I respect Dominion for wanting to take risks and do something different. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I had a really good time with it. As we're coming up to the home stretch, we have The Lost World Jurassic Park. Of all the Jurassic sequels, I will concede that The Lost World is the best made of the lot. I have been adamant that The Lost World is not as bad as many claimed it to be, and I've been saying this since 1997. It may not be without its faults, like how there are a few too many characters that feel like proper introductions were needed versus what we got. There's a whole bunch of deleted scenes that could fill in some plot gaps, or how the movie basically has to reset itself to warrant the San Diego incident, but there's far more positives. The movie easily has the best effects and score of the series. I love the use of animatronics in this movie, with the crew more confident after Jurassic Park. The cast of this movie is phenomenal, especially with the late great Pete Postlethwaite stealing every scene he is in. It has some of the best dinosaur designs of the series, and I like how, if you stop and think about it, there are no clear heroes or villains in this movie, despite how the Kenner toys branded the two teams. Like Vince Vaughn said, you have two groups of people with very different agendas thrown into the situation together. Malcolm and company want the dinosaurs to just be left alone to do their thing, while Ludlow wants to bail his company out and keep his job. Both are understandable angles, especially if the boardroom scene had been kept in, so I love that moral conflict. And as great as Arliss Howard is as Peter Ludlow, I would love to visit the alternate universe where Gary Oldman played the part. Our second last entry, controversially, is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. While I said that The Lost World is the better made sequel, I think Fallen Kingdom is the best at moving the story forward. Just put down your pitchforks and think about it. The previous Jurassic movies all ended with people eventually getting off the islands and they are separated enough from the dinosaurs to not be a threat anymore, right? Well, not here. I love that Fallen Kingdom had the guts to go, hey, remember all that nostalgia that we catered to so hard in the last movie? Yeah, we're going to take all that and literally burn it to the ground. Yes, Owen still feels like he's all skills and no personality, but at least they tried to add in some more of that emotional connection that he has with Blue. Yes, I would have liked to have seen a montage of Claire and her team working in tandem with Wheatley's team, rescuing other dinosaurs before the inevitable betrayal. Yes, I wish that they had kept Iris's death in the movie. Nothing against the character or the actress, Geraldine Chaplin's great, but it would have been more of an emotional punch to Maisie feeling truly alone now that both her grandfather and her nanny are gone. This is also where it was originally revealed that Maisie was a clone. With that said, I think Rafe Spall's Eli Mills is a great Jurassic villain, even going so far as to outright murder his boss to get things done. The transition of island to mainland flows better here than it did in The Lost World. The scene with the Brachiosaurus on the dock is such a horrifyingly beautiful send-off to Isla Nublar and John Hammond's dream. And on top of that, it made dinosaurs scary again. After feeling kind of ho-hum on the terror aspect of the dinosaurs in 3 and World, respectively, director J.A. Bayona brought in a great horror film tone that was desperately needed for this series. Seriously, the first time I saw Fallen Kingdom, I was on edge because the stuff with the Indoraptor was intense. I wanted a similar claustrophobic, familiar but not safe feeling that we got from the kitchen scene in the original film, only throughout the entire mansion. And in my opinion, I think we got that. I cannot remember who said that the second half of Fallen Kingdom is a better Resident Evil movie than any of the actual Resident Evil movies. But that person was spot on, as someone who especially loved the original Resident Evil games. The ending of Fallen Kingdom left me with a genuine feeling of, oh shoot, now what? The same way that Infinity War did, and I couldn't wait to see what the rest of the franchise had in store, for better or worse. Finally, closing out our list is Jurassic Park. What else could belong in the number one spot? I don't know what else I could say about the original Jurassic Park film that hasn't already been said, so I'm going to be relying on personal experience for this one. While it did take me 30 years to admit that the original novel by Michael Crichton is better, that doesn't take away from the greatness of the film, and because of that greatness, I will forever be more attached to the films than to the book. Still love the book, though. Much like a lot of the movie-going public in 1993, little 6-year-old me was not fully prepared for what Jurassic Park had in store and what it would do to me when my brother, uncle, aunt, RIP, and cousins went to the theater. I've been scared by movies before, sure. The librarian / gray lady from Ghostbusters, my second favorite movie, immediately comes to mind, but that was at home on a regular TV. Being obsessed with dinosaurs and seeing them come to life on a 40-foot screen completely blew me away. The pacing and tension of the Tyrannosaur breakout got to me so much that I had to go with my aunt when she went to the bathroom, and we walked around the lobby and even stepped outside for some air. As a result, I missed the Dilophosaurus scene, and when I came back, my brother was like, "Dude, you just missed the coolest thing." I even had nightmares about velociraptors for a year, and my parents would not allow me to go back and see it again to face those fears. Jurassic Park took me to a place that I didn't know movies could take me. I stepped out of the theater, looked at the banner with the T-Rex skeleton on the marquee, and said, "That is the greatest movie ever made," and I've been chasing that unicorn ever since. Fun fact, when The Lost World came out, my dad took me to see it and was like, "Oh, you gonna get scared again?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm ready this time." I'm willing to give new Jurassic material a chance due to my love of this film, but I will also try to judge them fairly without giving them a pass just because it's new Jurassic. While the follow-ups certainly vary in quality, nothing has ever managed to top the first Jurassic Park film as far as the film canon goes, in my eyes. And that's my ranking of the Jurassic franchise film canon. I'd love to see your rankings, so feel free to include them below in the comments section. Next week, we'll be going back to repaints, so until then, this is JurassicKM, signing off.